catastrophic storms on two fronts. What are we going to do? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time today. We have a little bit of misty morning. It is a misty morning, actually. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a failure day. Catastrophic storms. There are two storms, one already hit and the other is coming. To start out with what is coming, that is coming. Milton. Damn thing is like a Cat 5 right now, and instead of it weakening, coming down to a Cat 2 or a Cat 3 when it hits Florida, it's going to stay a Cat 4, maybe even increase back up to a Cat 5. So I've been in a Cat 5 before. I know what it sounds like. I know what it feels like. I know what the pressures are like. It is pretty scary. I was in Andrew many years ago and a few other storms that were really pretty nasty, but Andrew was probably one of the worst. You can actually hear the roof creaking and cracking as it expands and contracts. You can actually look at the windows of your house or the sliding glass doors and see them bow in and bow out and bow in and bow out on the pressure coming in and out. So it's pretty scary. All right, it's pretty scary. And by this evening, once it gets dark, this is what we're going to have to deal with. We are inland about 200 miles, 150 miles, somewhere around there. So we should only get, if we get hit with a category 5, let's say on the coast, we should get a category 2 here, maybe 3. It really depends, all right, on how these winds dissipate. And then also, how fast is this thing traveling? Let's hope it's moving quickly and it doesn't stall off the coast and just keep on pummeling us, because that's happened to us here in Florida in the past. So my daughter is directly in the path and she is on the Gulf Coast. So she is evacuating and she's coming to me. Thank God. All right. So anyone that's out there that is currently right around that Sarasota, Tampa Bay, that area, you really need to get out. And if you are inland only by 20 miles, 10 miles, somewhere around there, if it says you're in a storm warning area where flooding could potentially occur, you need to get out. Okay, this is nothing to mess around with. Trust me, I've been through many storms over the 30, 40 years I've been here in Florida. Okay, so don't mess around with it. The other catastrophic failure is Linux, right? Shit the bed. And I'll get into that in just a second. Before we get into any more, I just want to say that if you enjoyed the video, this is probably going to be the last video for a little while, because chances are we'll lose power and things are just going to get nasty. I might be blacked out for a few days, and I'm sorry. I'm putting this out here kind of just raw a little bit, just to say what's going on, right? Just so you know. And if I'm not around for a couple of days, you know why. Anyways, before we get into it, I just want to say that if you enjoy the video, throw it a thumbs up. That's always helpful. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're not, if you are, thank you. Click this little notification button so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work in this channel, there's a thank you button. You can click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, that's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, check them out. Go to JCristina.com/books. And if you want more content that has to do with the life after Microsoft Windows, click here. Don't do it yet. Click right here. I'll put together a playlist just for you so you can take a look at everything that we've done so far and all of the positives and negatives that have come along with it, so you could decide if you want to dump Billy the Kid, get rid of his ass, and go with Linux or even Mac. However, just get away from Windows. Get away from Windows. It's spyware, it's malware, it's just complete junk. Anyways, that being said, back into this. I just want to, kind of give you a couple of little pointers. And some people, they just forget about this when there's a disaster or something that is pending that's coming. You can't do this if you get hit with a tornado, right? But with a hurricane, you see it coming, so you need to be prepared. I put together a little list here because I find that they are important, and some people, they just forget some of these things, right? They just think about, oh, let me get some water. Well, that's important. Well, what else do you need? Number one, you need to be able to monitor the storm and what's going on outside, because once you shelter in place, you don't know what's going on out there, right? So you need some type of radio that is like a storm radio that you can hear AM, you can hear storm channels and what's going on. The weather channel is very important in this situation. And of course, any type of public broadcasting is very important also. So lots of batteries, that helps out a lot. Also, an emergency kit. Of course, you need water, you need food, and you need supplies, but also have all of your meds. That's very important. Some people forget about that. If there's no power in your city for a week, it's going to be hard to get to the pharmacy to get your meds that you need, right? So make sure that you have your meds, any type of antibiotics, anything that you require every day, have plenty of, just in case. Also, you want to board up, obviously, the windows, your storm shutters, clear out your gutters, all this kind of stuff. This is really important for flying debris. The wind is not really what hurts you. It's the shit that's flying in the wind. When it picks up a brick and it launches it towards your house, if it hits a storm shutter, all right, you're going to hear a loud boom. But if that storm shutter wasn't there, you're going to hear a loud crash and it's going to come flying through your window and hopefully not hurt someone. Also, you need to have a family plan. I've talked about this in the past. I think this is very important. Where do you go in case of some type of catastrophic failure to the grid or any type of failure to government services? Where do you go? Where is your meetup spot? Also, have a means to get to that meetup spot, even if Google Maps isn't working, right? If you can't get onto Siri, be like, hey, can you get me to this address? It doesn't work if the cell towers are down. So actually print up a map. I know printing a map just sounds so old school, but you know what? In case of emergency or an oh shit event happens, guess what? Those maps are mission critical because you can actually get from point A to point B just by looking at the map, right? It's kind of odd, right? That even exists. Remember that you were a kid and you were going to Disney or something and this map is up on like how do we get there? That's what your parents were doing or whoever's co-piloting. It's the funniest thing. But we don't have to do that anymore, luckily. But if in case of a grid down, you're going to be doing that too. Mapping it. Also, you need to have some type of evacuation route because if they say it's time to evacuate because things are really getting worse, it's progressively getting worse, how do you get out from where you are? And have multiple means of getting out because the main road is probably the one that everyone is going to use. Have backup means of getting out. Speaking about backup, back up your documents, right? Put them into waterproof, sealed boxes or any type of sealed enclosure. So if something happens to the home, all of those important documents don't get wet. The same thing in case of a fire, right? You could put them in a fire safe because they are watertight too. This type of thing. This is very important. Also, make sure you have gas all the time in your car. When you go out and you see there's a line of gas, get into the line as long as there's only a couple of people, fill it up. Every time you go from place to place, fill it up. Even though you're only putting in $4 or $5, whatever, keep it filled. Because once the grid goes down, those pumps are no longer going to be able to pump gas because they don't have electric. Now, in Florida, it's a little bit different because they mandated during all the massive storms that we have electric backup at all of the pumps, at all of those facilities. If you have a gas station, you need to have a diesel generator. That's just mandated by law here in Florida. It's not like that everywhere. All right. So bear that in mind. Also, what you want to do is go to a higher ground. Okay. So if you can get to higher ground, do so because low-lying areas are going to get flooded. That's just simply it. Also, get to the center of your house. You want to go to an area of the house, bring everyone to that area that does not have windows. The center is usually the most secure. So get to the center of your house, especially during the hurricane when it's coming over and you're getting those maximum sustained winds. That is very, very important. Also, you want to have battery backups of any kind, right? So any of your laptops can be powered with those battery backups. Obviously, you're not going to run your refrigerator and your air condition, but all of your, let's say, essentials so that you could communicate, all right, have those backed up. Remember, if the grid goes down, your cell phone will not work. Some might not. It really depends on which cell tower is out and which ones are working. So you might not have any communication where you are, but make sure everything is charged up just in case. And when we talk about backup, I would like to see everyone have multiple means of internet connection, a backup of internet Currently, I have AT&T, I have T-Mobile home internet, and I have SpaceX Starlink. The Starlink is the primary, T-Mobile is the secondary, and AT&T, which is complete trash, is the tertiary, right? So I have three means. One is land, the other one is by air, that is going to be to the cell tower, that's at T-Mobile, and then one is from the satellite. But interestingly, the landline, the crap as I call it, AT&T line, if there is no power, but they have power, a generator where they are servicing, guess what? We will have internet here even though we don't have power because it comes through that line. So it's always good to have multiple forms of internet backup. And lastly, check on your neighbors. If you're all set, everything is done, see if there's an elderly couple next door across the street from you that needs some help with a shutter, or maybe after the storm, see if everyone's all right. That's always the best thing to do. So those are just a couple of things off the top of my head that I wrote down earlier today. I just want to share with you because this is the type of thing that we see all the time. And a lot of people here are new to Florida and they don't know what a Category 4, Category 5 storm looks like. So some of them are running around like Chicken Little with their heads popping off. And then other ones are like, yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be fine. And it's kind of something in between where you need to be. Now, I was telling you the catastrophic failure that ended up happening with Linux, and Linux ended up shitting the bed. It was my fault, okay? But it did happen, and I want to bring this to your attention because I don't want it to happen to you. Now, I brought in 2 video cards. Actually, I brought in 3. I brought in a RTX 3060. I brought in an RTX 4060, and I also brought in a Radeon 7800. Now, this Radeon 7800 was the bane of my existence for the last day and a half. All right, I didn't do a video yesterday. Why? I didn't have a computer. The whole thing literally just, it was bad. Now, it was partially my fault. Something not to do. If you're going to go from NVIDIA to an AMD card, make sure you delete all drivers, all NVIDIA drivers before you install the AMD. I didn't. There was conflicts. It just simply didn't work. It was just a headache. And then what ended up happening was, since it's like kernel based, it switched the kernel, it changed things, and now I couldn't even boot into the damn thing. I could not get in. I had to go into like compatibility mode, let's call it recovery mode, to see if I can fix things. I literally spent hours and hours and hours trying to fix the damn thing. I couldn't. So I said, you know what? It's time to just delete the whole thing and reinstall. Now, I've installed, you guys know, many operating systems, many distros already, so I know how to do it and I can do it pretty quickly. So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to try Fedora all over again, Fedora 40. I want to see how that works. I'm going to try also the Linux Mint, which I had running, and then I'm also going to try Ubuntu, the 24.04.1, I think it is, something like that. The newest, latest, and greatest Ubuntu. So I did it. I said, I'm going to use this Radeon card because it is more expensive. It's like $550, supposed to be badass. Guess what? I tried it with every single one of the operating systems, with each one of the distros, the Mint, the Ubuntu, as well as Fedora 40. And I tried to install DaVinci Resolve and none of them would work. I tried all kinds of how-tos and different tips and tricks from different people. I could not get the damn thing to work. It just wouldn't do it. It wouldn't do it. And this is a fresh install. I said, you know, why do I need to use this Radeon card? It's just this much faster, maybe. I'm going to go back to NVIDIA because I know I can get DaVinci Resolve installed within minutes without any problem at all. It just simply works. And this is always my motto with this movement to Linux. I tell you guys about options that just simply work. I don't need you sitting there coding or sitting in a terminal window doing this, that, and the other thing. No, it should just simply work. And if it doesn't, I'm going to tell you that so you don't do it. So in my personal opinion, as of right now, if you're looking to get DaVinci Resolve working on your Linux system, use an NVIDIA card, period. It is very simple and basic. I can tell you exactly how to do it. Maybe I'll put together a little list of things to do to make it easier, or do a video just how to do it simply, but it is really easy and it just works. And I'm using the studio version, the one that I bought for $300, and it works flawlessly. So I started out with a GTX 1070. That was the first card. Then we tried the RTX 3060. Then we tried the RTX 4070. And then we finally tried the AMD Radeon 7800. Guys, the 7800, like I said, was a failure. All right, took that out. I said, you know what? I'm done with it. I spent 4 hours with you. It's getting packed up and it's going back. Amazon, here we come, right? The 4060 was a really good card, but this is the caveat. It was an Asus, matter of fact, maybe I'll put a picture of it here. It was an Asus 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte card. And you know what? After pulling it in and out of the computer, maybe about 4 times, okay, with strap on, with power out, don't come to me, right? With nonsense. Anyways, the card died. The card failed. So I tried installing the operating system. I'm like, why is this not working? Then I installed another operating system. Why is this one not working? The bottom line was, it was the damn card. So I installed the 1070, my original card, the old one, and guess what? Linux Mint installed flawlessly. DaVinci Resolve, flawlessly. OBS, that I'm recording this right now, flawlessly. Everything. I'm about maybe 80% built all over again, right? And this could have been done literally in about 2-3 hours, but instead it took me probably about 20 hours. I literally worked on this project all into the wee early morning hours, 3:30 in the morning, had to get up at 5:30 to get my kid over to school. So I got like 2 hours sleep. Don't do this, guys. Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't go with this Radeon card. I don't care what any of these people say. Yes, you can probably make it work, and there's probably plenty of you guys that have, but just for simplicity, the NVIDIA just simply works. Now, which one of these cards would I recommend? If you're on a budget, go with the RTX 3060, okay? It is a card that has 12 gigabytes of RAM, VRAM, not 16 like the 4060 does, but it renders at just about the same speed. When you do a rendering of a video through DaVinci Resolve, they're almost identical. The 4060 that costs like $180 more is like maybe 10 seconds faster, sometimes 10 seconds slower. There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. Now, when it comes to video games, the 4060 is definitely better. So if you have the extra money, right, then go with the 4060 because it is better. Now, not the Asus card, because for me, I can't have a card that I pull out a couple of times out of a computer and then the damn thing is dead. That is pathetic for a $450 card or so, okay? It's ridiculous. Anyways, I just wanted to bring this to your attention, wanted to give you where I am at with my Linux journey. I did once again go through this show that was just horrific, and it was my fault, all right? I should have deleted all these drivers from the beginning, and I would have probably saved myself 4 hours worth of time, but nevertheless, even with fresh installs on all 3 operating systems, all 3 distros, the Radeon card did not work properly with DaVinci Resolve, and I need it to, all right? The other benefit of using an NVIDIA card over a Radeon card, an AMD card for DaVinci Resolve, is that DaVinci Resolve really loves the CUDA, right? The CUDA cores. And these CUDA cores basically just it just amps it up. All right. It just really speed things up so that there's like 2 things going on simultaneously. It's almost like having dual processors, let's say. Okay. It just works really well. It's great for AI. It is great for rendering. It is just simply great. They just do a really good job with it, and DaVinci Resolve loves it. It uses it. Whereas with a Radeon card, you could just brute force it. Faster VRAM, faster processor, faster everything, just to keep up with the NVIDIA card. So just keep that in mind. And once again, that's why I would recommend going with an RTX whatever. If you're once again on a budget, the 360 is for you. If you can get up to that $450, $500 mark, a 460 is pretty good. Also, I would not go with the RTX 470 because the value is just not there. You're paying $700, $800, $900 for the damn thing, and you're not getting that much more speed out of it. I think it's a stupid card. I don't even know why they came out with it. Anyways, that's for a whole nother video. So I'm going to get out of here. I need to start going and do my shutters and everything else to get prepared for tonight. The landfall is going to be after midnight. I hate that in the middle of the night. Just can't see what's going on. But either which way, I'm out of here. Once again, if you enjoy the content, throw it a thumbs up. I might be blacked out for a couple of days. I apologize in advance. Hopefully we'll hear on Friday for the JC live show. If I am, watch for it and definitely participate. Come in, hang out with me. All right. It's a lot of fun. We call it Free Speech Friday. Anyways, guys, thank you once again for being here. We will see you in the next one. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.